What is going on, traders? Welcome back to the Traveling Trader. Some very important things I want to discuss today on three matters. The first one of our penny stocks, SESN or SESN, that's the ticker symbol, is getting closer to FDA approval. There is a new milestone that they hit today, which we will get into. Second, I will be talking about CCIV/Lucid, which you guys, if you're tracking the matter, you probably already know this information, but I'm going to give you a little bit of info as to how I will be trading this, or how I would be trading this if I wasn't already in it. And newsflash, it has to do with options, because in my view, that is your best bet at the moment, especially if you don't own the shares. So you definitely want to stick around for that if you want to get my trade ideas on CCIV/Lucid, or what is purported to be Lucid. And number three, I will talk about Palantir, Palantir's lockup, its recent price drop, and whether I think that is a buying opportunity. I will timestamp it all, or not timestamp, but whatever YouTube calls it. I think they call it chapters now, but you'll see it in the progress bar delineated by the topic. So I'll make sure to do that for you guys below. So look out for that. And if you want to join our private trading group where I send out all of my trades, link is in the description below. We have a group of over 4,300 traders now, which is just absolutely insane. I thank each and every one of you, but also you guys make the group what it is. And in my view, it is the best trading group on YouTube, best trading group on the internet. We talk options, long-term holds, penny stocks, swing trades, etc. We run the full gamut, and each room is extremely active, especially with that sheer number of people. So if you want access to that, link is in the description below. And if not, I appreciate your viewership anyway. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Oh, hit that big fat thumbs up if you get anything out of this video. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So if you guys are familiar with our channel, if you're familiar with my penny stock picks and my updates on penny stocks, you know that SESN is one that we've been holding for a while. I believe we bought into SESN. I can check actually what the original alert was. Here is the original alert that I sent out on January 5th. And the price of SESN at that point was $1.30. And it was sitting at this trend line, which has been pretty consistent throughout at least throughout this run up here. But yeah, it was $1.30. And now we are sitting at $3.16 after hours. Now, what we were waiting for with SESN was the potential for FDA approval. And on around February 1st, when this news story came out, I did an update saying that the FDA was fast tracking the meeting for Vicinium, which is the main product that SESN is seeking FDA approval for, that they were fast tracking that meeting. And today we got news that they have in fact confirmed priority review status for Vicinium. Now, this doesn't mean that the FDA approval has passed, but it just means that it jumped the line on FDA approval review. However, all sources involved in the matter that have spoken about it are expecting Vicinium to actually be approved by the FDA. However, this news, along with the fact that it got a price target raise of $7 by Canaccord Genuity. So the price target was raised from $5 to $7. Again, it is only trading at $3.16 now. And I expect SESN to hit that $7 mark, especially if FDA approval has passed. However, at this point, it does look a bit overextended, and it did actually hit a high of around 352 today, dropping a bit. In my view, this is a pretty easy trade. There's two things you could do here. You can wait for a potential chance at a retrace after running so hot on the momentum indicators, or you can dollar cost average, meaning buying some at $3. If it drops, buying a little more, etc. Establishing a decent cost basis in advance of that $7 or potential $7 price target. Again, that all hinges on FDA approval. If the FDA approval, or if the FDA process doesn't get approved, then this thing can obviously tank back to below $3 or $2 even. But those of you asking if you missed the boat on SESN, again, those are your two options: dollar cost average, wait for a potential retrace if it does retrace, but not too late for obviously a $7 target. All right, CCIV, we are up massively on this. Not surprising. I did a video early in January talking about CCIV potentially doubling. I think the price was around $18 there then, and it did double in January, but now it even just pushed that limit, and we are at $52 today. And that's all because of a Reuters news story. We're not talking about a slouch of a news agency, but Reuters says that it had sources close to the deal saying that, as a matter of fact, Lucid is the company that the Michael Klein blank check firm, otherwise known as CCIV, is taking public, and that the valuation of Lucid would be $12 billion, which I think this would qualify as the biggest SPAC merger of all time. And I think because of who the news source was, it was Reuters, the market interpreted this very favorably. You can even see here on the on-balance volume just the amount of demand there is for CCIV at the moment. Now, this does scare me, obviously, holding a lot of CCIV. There are many positions we have, from short puts. We have a super spread on CCIV. Obviously, the shares, the warrants are up even, I think they're up 360%. So it definitely does scare me. And I did trim my position some today because there's no way you can determine a price target here. I mean, the price target can be $70. That wouldn't surprise me. It could be $150. That wouldn't surprise me. We saw QuantumScape go up to $140, and they are an unproven battery company. We don't even know if they have the ability to power flashlights, let alone EVs. And that company ran to about $140. So there is a fair amount priced in here, in my view. It's just you cannot really determine momentum. There's no way to do it. But here's the good news. If you're not in CCIV, what would I do here? Well, a couple of things. If the merger is not announced, there's only so much time that this crazy price can be upheld, right? This price was a direct result of this Reuters news story here. But if they don't come out and announce the deal within the next couple of days, I think we definitely see some profit taking, and we will see a retracement maybe to the $40 level, at which point it will be an opportunity to get in if you still think that the Lucid CCIV merger is on the table. Obviously, if they don't merger with Lucid, this is going to be an epic crash. So the other thing you can do is play options. How would we do that? Well, here's the crazy thing. So I was looking at selling calls today against my shares, which I've done before. But if you look at the option chain, because CCIV, was trading in the $20, $30 range for so long, there wasn't actually a strike price that was higher than 60. This is the highest it goes. Now, how do new strike prices get added to the option chain? Well, market makers have to request that the exchange actually adds them. And this happens after the price starts climbing higher and testing the limits of the available strike prices. In this case, CCIV ran to $52, and the strike price, the last available strike price is $60. So if it stays within this range for a few days, I expect to see more options open up here, which would allow us some flexibility in selling covered calls, which in my view would be a very easy trade. So how would you go about this? Well, the way you would go about it is, let's just say that they open up all the way up to $70 or $80 in the option chain. You would buy 100 shares of CCIV, whatever the cost is, maybe at around $50 something. If it retraces to $40 something, or even pushes higher to testing that $60 level, for instance, you would buy 100 shares. And then you would sell a call against your shares. This is called a covered call. Now, what happens in this instance? Let's just say you bought 100 shares of CCIV at $50. You sold a $70 call. Well, if $70 never gets hit, then you keep all of the money that you sold that call for. If $70 is hit and you get assigned, then you will be forced to sell your CCIV shares, but you bought them at $50. So you will be selling them for a profit anyway of $20 because you bought them at 50, you're forced to sell them at 70. But you also keep the premium that you sold the $70 call for. So if we look at here, for just to take an example, the $60 call, you could actually sell this for around $2,000 right now, the one that expires in August. So if you bought 100 shares of CCIV at $50 and you sold the $70 call for around $2,000, if and when it becomes available, then you make $20 per share if you're forced to give up your shares, plus you keep that $2,000. And again, if it never hits $70, then you just keep the $2,000 and you could sell another round of calls. Now, the other thing you could do on CCIV is sell a put. So in this case, you can right now sell the $35 put expiring in August for $12.10. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that if $35 never gets hit, you keep $1,210. No questions asked. If $35 is hit, you'll be forced to buy 100 shares of CCIV, but not at $35 because you collected $12.10 per share, so your cost basis is actually reduced. It'll be $35 minus $12.10, which would be $22.90. Much safer than buying it at 50 something dollars and potentially risking the price drop. If you were forced to buy CCIV at 22 bucks or $23, I'm sure you would relish that opportunity a lot more than trying to risk it and FOMOing here in the 50s. So those are your two options in my view, no pun intended, but those are your two options here if you don't have the shares. Sell a cash covered put or sell a covered call. And I did videos on, I believe I just did a video on the cash covered put, but I just explained the covered call to you. Anyway, I will link the cash covered put here for those of you that want to watch that video. All right. And the third thing I will talk about is Palantir. Palantir saw another price drop today. Now, what is happening is this. I talked about this a bit in my last video, but I didn't talk about it from this angle. There is a scenario that I actually forgot to mention or failed to mention or maybe even got wrong. Basically, what's happening at the moment with Palantir is that a bulk of traders are waiting for the lockup expiration to end. Now, just in summary, what is the lockup expiration? Well, the initial investors have to wait until the earnings report, which came out today, until that earnings report is released before being able to sell their shares. Now, there are reports that they have to wait full 3 days after the earnings are announced. Now, they are not bound by SEC or any sort of laws. It's sort of a gentle person's agreement at this point. So I already have talked to somebody who's involved with the company. I'm not going to say who. And there is word that some employees are selling their shares already. So I'm not sure if every investor is going to bind themselves to that 3-day lockup expiration. Again, that's just word on the street. It's not an official report. Don't take my word for it. However, I can tell you that looking at the chart, the way that investors are or traders are interpreting this is they are waiting for that lockup expiration because they know that a shitload of shares are going to hit the market. And so they don't want to get stiffed by that. We usually tend to see a price drop after lockup expirations. And we saw that with Fubo, we saw that with Lemonade, as well as a few other companies. But it's usually a very short-term time window, especially on a stock that people want to own. And we see this double top now forming here. It is currently sitting at the 50-day moving average. Now, what we did today, and the way that we routinely trade Palantir, it's one of the easiest trades to make, is that when you see a price drop like this, you could sell puts on Palantir, cash secured puts. Now, I'm not going to go through that right now. Let's just talk about the stock real quick. I think this is a good position here, a good time to establish a position or to start dollar cost averaging. And I took a look at ARK's purchases as well. And if you look at ARK, you could see here they bought 1.5 million shares of Palantir today. And we all know that Kathy is great at buying the dip. So to me, that I definitely agree with that sentiment. I do think that this is a buy the dip opportunity, especially because this area here represents a long period of consolidation for Palantir before the last run up in January, right? It spent a long time trading sideways here. So the fact that it's back at this level doesn't surprise me. It shows that there is a ton of investor demand at this level. So, between the $23 to $27 range, I'm comfortable rebuying Palantir. Now, from a cash secured put perspective, it is a little bit easier of a trade. Again, if you have the capital to buy 100 shares, I would much rather do this than buy the shares. But you can go out to something like August and you could sell and you could see I actually have a position here, but you can go out to August and you could sell like the $28 cash secured put. We got a little more for it, but right now you could sell it for almost $8. Now that would put your cost basis of Palantir, if you get assigned, at $20, which is a lot better than paying $27 for it. If it never hits, if you never get assigned, then you just keep that $800 that you sold that put for. And I'm going to be keeping my eye on the lockup expiration this week. I do think that the drawdown from the expected lockup expiration is going to be temporary, and then we will see Palantir bounce back above the $30 level. So I will be dollar cost averaging at this point along with Kathy Wood. I have no problem doing that. Anyway, traders, that is it for this video. If you got anything out of this video, leave it a big fat thumbs up just like this. Leave it in the comment section below. Let me know if you're trading any one of these 3 stocks that I'm talking about, and if you agree or disagree with my opinion. I love hearing from you guys. Subscribe to the private trading group. Link is in the description. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. Stay safe out there, traders. Peace.